Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. Angels don't guard everybody. No, they don't. That might sound cold, but it's the truth. They don't waste their presence on just anybody, on empty missions, on wandering souls with no fire in their chest. They're assigned. They're appointed. They go where the fight is real. They go where the battle matters. And woman, you're one of those battles. They guard a woman like you. You know why? Because you're dangerous to the darkness. Because when you walk into a room, hell gets nervous. When you open your mouth, truth comes out. When you choose love, when you choose patience, when you choose to rise instead of fold, something holy watches over you. You've been through too much, seen too much, felt too much to be here by accident. That kind of strength doesn't go unnoticed by heaven. You were built with fire in your bones. You've cried yourself to sleep and still showed up the next morning like a soldier. You've loved when you had every reason to walk away. You've forgiven things that would have poisoned somebody else. And you think angels wouldn't take notice. You're still standing. You're still shining. You didn't let the world harden you. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's not just making it through. That's coverage. That's a divine watchtower with your name on it. See, some people walk through life hoping for grace. You walk through carrying it. And no, protection doesn't mean perfection. It means purpose. It means there's something in you too valuable to be left unguarded. You think the enemy comes for anything that isn't a threat. No, he comes for what scares him. And woman, you are terrifying to the things that crawl in the dark. So don't doubt your value. Don't shrink your light. Don't apologize for the crown you carry. Angels don't follow weakness. They follow warriors. You're not just watched. You're backed up by heaven. You're not just surviving. You're protected because you're chosen. Angels don't guard everyone, but they do guard a woman like you. Not everyone is chosen. Some people are set apart by divine favor. It's not about status, wealth, or popularity. It's deeper than that. It's about something sacred woven into the very fabric of your existence. There are people who walk through life unnoticed by the world, but deeply known by the heavens. You can see it in the way they carry themselves through trials, how they keep showing up when everything around them says give up. Divine favor isn't always loud. It doesn't scream. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it looks like peace in chaos. Sometimes it looks like strength when there's no strength left. You've seen people with less fall apart while someone else walks through fire and comes out refined instead of destroyed. That's not luck. That's being set apart. There are people who were never meant to fit in because they were born to stand out. Not because they chose to, but because destiny demanded it. Divine favor doesn't ask for permission. It finds you. It marks you. It places you in rooms you didn't earn your way into, then gives you the grace to remain there. It elevates you in silence and defends you without a word. You don't need to explain yourself when you're walking in divine favor. People will misunderstand you. They'll question your path. But the ones who are chosen don't need validation from the crowd. Their journey is not about applause. It's about assignment. Being set apart means you'll often walk alone, but never unguarded. It means being called to carry weight others can't lift, to endure storms others can't weather, to love harder, give deeper, and rise stronger. That's the burden and the blessing of favor. It's not for everyone. But when it's for you, nothing in this world can take it from you. Angels aren't sent where there's no purpose. They follow greatness. They don't waste their presence on paths without meaning or people drifting through life without vision. Angels are drawn to purpose like fire draws breath. They are guardians of destiny, not spectators of chaos. If you've ever wondered why you felt protected in moments when you should have fallen apart, it's because something greater than you recognized the calling on your life. You're not just walking, you're being watched. Not out of fear, but because the journey you're on has weight, impact, and legacy. Greatness isn't always loud or famous. It's not about spotlight or applause. Sometimes it shows up in quiet resilience, in choosing to rise every day when quitting would be easier. Purpose whispers in the dark before it shouts in the light, and those whispers attract the presence of something divine. Angels move in silence, but their work is loud in your survival, in your strength, in your breakthrough. You're not randomly being helped. You're being followed by a force that understands who you really are beneath all the noise and pain. They don't show up because you're perfect. They show up because you're purposeful. Purpose demands protection because it's always under attack. Anything with the power to change lives, lift others, speak truth, or create healing becomes a target. That's why angels surround those who carry light, not just for themselves, but for everyone watching them. Your story, your struggle, your triumph, it matters. There's a reason you've come this far, a reason the weight didn't crush you. Greatness isn't an accident, and the ones who carry it, even when they don't know they do, never walk alone. You're not being guarded by chance. You're being guarded by choice, because heaven invests in what it knows will shift the world. God doesn't assign warriors to battles that don't matter. Every fight you faced, every struggle that's tried to take you out wasn't random. It was targeted. It was specific. You weren't chosen to walk through fire because you were weak. You were chosen because you were strong enough to come out refined, not burned. Warriors are not thrown into meaningless conflict. They are placed in the heat because something in them, something unshakable, has the power to win what others can't even face. When God sends a warrior, it's because there's something in the battlefield that must be claimed, conquered, or changed. If you're in a hard place, if life has pressed on you with a weight that feels unfair, that's not evidence that God has abandoned you. That's proof that you've been trusted, not with comfort, but with impact. You were sent into that moment with armor already built into your spirit. You've been trained through every tear, every closed door, every night you had to encourage yourself when no one else would. That wasn't just survival, it was preparation. A warrior knows pain, but doesn't surrender to it. A warrior feels fear, but moves forward anyway. God doesn't place that kind of spirit into easy circumstances. He sends it to fight for something that has eternal value. Your pain is not pointless. Your battle is not insignificant, and your presence in that battle is not accidental. You've been assigned, strategically placed. There's something only you can break, something only you can carry out of the fire. So when it feels heavy, don't just ask, why me? Ask instead, what's in me that made heaven choose me for this? Because God does not send warriors to empty fields. He sends them where the war has purpose, and the victory will echo far beyond them. Every scar you carry is proof that something tried to break you and failed. It's not just a mark on your body or your memory. It's a signature of survival. Scars are not signs of weakness. They are evidence of resilience. They tell the world, I went through something, and I'm still here. Life has thrown storms your way. It's knocked you down, shaken your peace, and tried to rewrite your story with pain. But those scars, they're reminders that you didn't stay down. You bled, you cried, you doubted, but you didn't give up. People often try to hide their scars, thinking they make them less. But in truth, scars are sacred. They speak when you don't. They tell the story of the battles that happened in silence. They whisper of nights you didn't think you'd survive, of mornings where getting out of bed was a victory. They show you've been through what many wouldn't have endured, and that you came out with your strength intact. Something tried to take you out, but you outlasted it. Something tried to silence you, but your voice is still here. Something tried to turn your heart cold, but you still choose love. When you look at your scars, don't see shame, see strategy. Every wound that healed made you wiser, tougher, deeper. You're not broken, you're rebuilt. And that's more powerful than never having been touched by pain at all. Because when you've been through the fire and come out with scars, you carry a power others can't fake. You know who you are. You know what you've survived. And the world can't take that from you. Your scars are not your weakness. They are your armor. They are the unspoken victories over battles most people never even saw. Being protected doesn't mean you haven't been attacked. It means you survived. Protection isn't about a life free from struggle. It's about having the strength, the grace, and the unseen covering to come out on the other side. There's a misconception that if you're truly blessed, you won't face trouble. But the truth is, the most anointed people often walk through the fiercest storms. That's because protection doesn't prevent the fire, it preserves you in it. You've been hit. You've been hurt. You've had your heart ripped wide open and your mind pushed to its limits. And yet you're still standing. You weren't protected from every blow, but you were protected from destruction. The enemy aimed to take you out, not just to wound you, but to silence you completely. And still, here you are, still breathing, still fighting, still hoping. That's protection. That's divine coverage. If you were never attacked, there'd be no need for angels. If life never tried to break you, there'd be no reason for resilience. But because you've been targeted, because your soul has value, you've been guarded. Not from the storm, but from the storm finishing you. Every time you thought it was over and somehow found the strength to keep going, that wasn't luck. That was purpose pulling you through. Every tear you cried wasn't wasted. It was counted. Being protected means even when you fall, you don't fall alone. Even when you feel broken, the pieces are held by hands that know how to restore. You are not here because life was easy. You are here because something sacred had your back when life wasn't. Protection isn't always visible, but survival is the evidence. And you are walking proof that no matter how fierce the attack, you were never abandoned. Being protected doesn't mean you haven't been attacked. It means you survived. Protection isn't about a life free from struggle. It's about having the strength, the grace, and the unseen covering to come out on the other side. There's a misconception that if you're truly blessed, you won't face trouble. But the truth is, the most anointed people often walk through the fiercest storms. That's because protection doesn't prevent the fire, it preserves you in it. You've been hit. You've been hurt. You've had your heart ripped wide open and your mind pushed to its limits. And yet you're still standing. You weren't protected from every blow, but you were protected from destruction. The enemy aimed to take you out, not just to wound you, but to silence you completely. And still, here you are, still breathing, still fighting, still hoping. That's protection. That's divine coverage. If you were never attacked, there'd be no need for angels. If life never tried to break you, there'd be no reason for resilience. But because you've been targeted, because your soul has value, you've been guarded. Not from the storm, but from the storm finishing you. Every time you thought it was over and somehow found the strength to keep going, that wasn't luck. That was purpose pulling you through. Every tear you cried wasn't wasted. It was counted. Being protected means even when you fall, you don't fall alone. Even when you feel broken, the pieces are held by hands that know how to restore. You are not here because life was easy. You are here because something sacred had your back when life wasn't. Protection isn't always visible, but survival is the evidence. And you are walking proof that no matter how fierce the attack, you were never abandoned. There's a difference between being lucky and being covered. Luck is random. It's a fleeting moment that happens by chance. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. It's the roll of the dice, the spin of the wheel, the toss of a coin. But being covered, that's intentional. It's purposeful. Being covered means there's a power greater than chance at work, a force that surrounds you, watches over you, and protects you even when you don't see it. Luck might get you through a rough day, but being covered means you have a shield that stands firm through every storm, every battle, every attack. When you're lucky, you might escape danger by sheer coincidence. When you're covered, you're guarded by something far beyond coincidence. It's spiritual protection. It's unseen hands holding you up when you're ready to fall. It's the difference between surviving by accident and surviving on purpose. Luck doesn't come with peace or certainty. Luck doesn't carry the weight of assurance. Being covered means you walk with confidence because you know you have backup. Whether it's angels, grace, or divine favor. You see, luck is unreliable. It changes like the wind. But coverage is steady. It's a shelter that doesn't leave when the skies darken. When you're covered, you don't just make it through by chance. You make it through because you were chosen to be kept safe. That means when doors close, new ones open. When storms rage, you find calm. When enemies rise, you find strength. You don't rely on luck. You rely on a protection that never wavers. So don't confuse the moments when things go your way with luck. Recognize when you're covered, because that is a whole different kind of power. It's not about chance. It's about purpose, destiny, and an unshakable promise that you're never walking alone. You are a light in places that need courage, grace, and resilience. In a world often shadowed by fear and doubt, your presence shines like a beacon, a guiding force for those who feel lost or overwhelmed. Courage isn't just about grand acts or heroic feats. It's about the quiet strength it takes to stand firm when the ground beneath you shakes. Your light reminds others that fear can be met with bravery, that challenges can be faced head-on without surrender. When others hesitate, your courage moves forward, creating a path where there was none before. Grace is another part of your light. It's the ability to show kindness and patience, even when the weight of the world presses down on you. Grace isn't weakness. It's power under control. It's the strength to forgive when it's easier to hold a grudge, to love when you've been hurt, to lift others even when you feel low yourself. Your grace softens harshness around you and invites others to breathe easier, to believe that there is beauty even in brokenness. In places where tension and conflict thrive, your light brings peace and calm, showing that gentleness is not the absence of strength, but its highest form. Resilience is what keeps your light burning through the darkest nights. It's the relentless spirit that refuses to be extinguished by failure, loss, or disappointment. You've been knocked down, but you rise again and again, not because it's easy, but because your light is needed. Resilience means that even when the world tries to dim you, you shine brighter, becoming a source of hope for those who thought all hope was lost. You carry a message without words, that endurance matters, that setbacks are temporary, and that through resilience, healing and growth are possible. Your light is more than just brightness. It's a lifeline. It's a sign to those struggling that they are not alone. You illuminate the way with courage, grace, and resilience, giving others the strength to keep moving forward when the journey seems impossible. Heaven recognizes your name, not because you asked, but because you earned it. This recognition isn't handed out lightly or given as a favor for mere wishes. It comes from a place deeper than desire or prayer. It's the result of a life lived with intention, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment. You didn't stumble into favor by accident or luck. You earned your place through the battles you fought, the pain you overcame, and the strength you showed when no one was watching. It's the marks you've left on the world, quiet acts of faith, courage, and love that have carved your name into the fabric of something eternal. You see, heaven isn't impressed by empty words or shallow promises. It honors those who prove themselves over time, those who keep rising after they fall, who choose to do what's right even when it costs them, who carry burdens others refuse to bear. Your name is known because you've been tested and you refuse to break. It's known because you've been refined by fire and not consumed by it. It's known because you carry a spirit that refuses to settle for less than your purpose. This kind of recognition isn't about popularity or praise here on earth. It's about standing firm in the unseen realm where real battles are fought and real victories are won. Heaven's recognition means you're part of a legacy bigger than yourself. It means your life has mattered in ways you may never fully understand. You've earned respect not by asking for it, but by living a life worthy of it. Your struggles, your triumphs, your faith, they all add up. They make you known. So when you feel overlooked or forgotten, remember this: there is a place where your name echoes with honor, not because you demanded it, but because you earned it with every step you took. Remember this: angels don't guard everyone, but they do guard a woman like you, because you are chosen, purposeful, and powerful beyond measure. You've walked through storms that would have broken others, carried scars that tell stories of survival, and stood strong when life pressed hardest. You aren't just lucky. You are covered by a divine protection that moves with you through every battle. Your light shines in places desperate for courage, grace, and resilience, and your name is recognized by heaven, not because you asked, but because you earned it. So stand tall, knowing that you are watched over, protected, and destined for greatness. The world needs what only you can bring, and your journey is proof that the angels guarding you are right where they belong. Remember this: angels don't guard everyone, but they do guard a woman like you, because you are chosen, purposeful, and powerful beyond measure. You've walked through storms that would have broken others, carried scars that tell stories of survival, and stood strong when life pressed hardest. You aren't just lucky, you are covered by a divine protection that moves with you through every battle. Your light shines in places desperate for courage, grace, and resilience, and your name is recognized by heaven not because you asked, but because you earned it. So stand tall, knowing that you are watched over, protected, and destined for greatness. The world needs what only you can bring, and your journey is proof that the angels guarding you are right where they belong.